another look now, take some time for him. No countries for paper, cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for him. When you rub hemp, make 20 barrels of oil. No need for pesticides, poison all our soil. No got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rent. Right now, it's time for him.
You are listening to the live broadcast of Time for Hemp all around the world on timeforhemp.com. I want to thank you for tuning in today. This is a very special occasion. Today, Eric Holder came out and stated that, Washington, the United States government took an historic step back from its long-running drug war on Thursday, when Attorney General Eric Holder informed the governors of Washington and Colorado that the Department of Justice would allow the states to create a regime that would regulate and implement the ballot initiatives that legalized the use of marijuana for adults. The Justice Department, I must say, the Justice Department, that's a funny name to call that. The Justice Department official said that Holder told the governors in a joint phone call, I like that expression, in a joint phone call early Thursday afternoon that the department would take a trust but verify approach, whatever that means, to the state laws. DOJ is reserving its right to file a preemptive lawsuit at a later date, since the state's regulation of marijuana is illegal under the Controlled Substance Act. Trust me, people, that will change. Deputy Attorney General James Cole also issued a 3.5-page memo. 3.5 pages. My God, why are you calling it a memo? Anyway, he issued a 3.5-page memo to U.S. attorneys across the country. The department's guidelines in this memorandum rest on the expectation that states and local governments that have enacted laws authorizing marijuana-related conduct will implement strong and effective regulatory and enforcement systems that will address the threat those state laws could pose to public safety, public health, and other law enforcement interest. Other law enforcement interests? Please. It's a plant. Anyway, it reads, a system adequate to that task must not only contain robust controls and procedures on paper. I hope that's hemp paper. It must also be effective in practice. The memo also outlines 8 priorities for federal prosecutors enforcing marijuana laws. According to the guidance, DOJ will still prosecute individuals or entities to prevent 1. The distribution of marijuana to minors. 2. Revenue from the sales of marijuana from going to criminal entrepreneurs, gangs, and cartels. 3. The diversion of marijuana from states where it is legal under state law in some form to other states where it's not. Next, state-authorized marijuana activity for being used as a cover or pretext for the trafficking of other illegal drugs or other illegal activities. Next, violence and the use of firearms in the cultivation and distribution of marijuana. Next, drugged driving and being intoxicated and being a nuisance in public because of use of marijuana. Next, growing of marijuana on public lands and the attendant public safety of an environmental danger posed by marijuana production on public lands. And last, preventing marijuana possession or use on federal property. The 8 highly priority areas leave prosecutors bent on targeting marijuana businesses with a fair amount of leeway, especially the expectation for adverse public health consequences. And prosecutors have shown a willingness to aggressively, whatever that means, aggressively interpret DOJ guidance in the past, as the many medical marijuana dispensary owners now behind bars can attest to. U.S. attorneys will individually be responsible for interpreting the guidelines and how they apply to a case they intend to prosecute. A Justice Department official said, for example, that a U.S. attorney could go after marijuana distributors who used cartoon characters in their marketing because that could be interpreted as attempting to distribute to minors. Really? Well, how about Snap, Crackle, and Pop trying to sell my kids sugar? That annoys me. The article further states, but the officials stressed that the guidance was not optional and that prosecutors would no longer be allowed to use sheer volume of sales for the for-profit status of an operation as triggers for prosecution, though these factors could still affect their prosecutorial decisions. The Obama administration has struggled with the legalization of medical marijuana in several states. Justice Department officials had instructed federal prosecutors across the country not to focus federal resources on individuals who were complying with state laws regarding the use of medical marijuana, but as U.S. attorneys in several states that had legalized medical marijuana rebelled, and what was known as the Odin memo faced stiff resistance from career prosecutors. That's just not what they do, one former justice official told the Huffington Post. They prosecute people. As a result, the internal pushback at DOJ, a new memo was issued by Deputy Attorney General James Cole in 2011 that gave U.S. attorneys more cover to go after medical marijuana distributors. Federal prosecutors began threatening local government officials with prosecution if they went forward with legalization regulation of medical cannabis. After recreational marijuana initiatives passed in Washington and Colorado in November, President Barack Obama, remember him? He's one of our presidents who actually smoked marijuana and enjoyed it and even stated that he inhaled. Anyway, President Barack Obama said the federal government had bigger fish to fry and would not make going after marijuana users a priority. Inside note, they spent more money than the Bush years going after medical marijuana patients in states where medical marijuana was legal. Holder said back in December that the federal response to the passage of the state ballot measure would be coming relatively soon. Washington Attorney General Bob Ferguson told Huffington Post his office was preparing for the worst-case scenario lawsuit against the law. And finally, today, the Justice Department made the decision that it is actually time to end the war on drugs. And that is why today we are celebrating with this musical extravaganza. And we want everybody to tune in and take time and share in the joy of ending the war on drugs, or at least the war on marijuana, here at Time for Hemp.
generations of hemp, cannabis, marijuana prohibition greatly contribute to planetary deforestation, pollution, and ozone destruction. Let hemp compete in construction, paper, fiber, fuel, nutritional, and pharmaceutical corporations. Cannabis has been safe, efficient medicine for many illnesses throughout all generations and for natural relaxation. Still, we spend hundreds of billions of dollars and throw away our Constitution to continue this insane persecution.
Looking for their medicine. They, their friends, relatives, and physicians constitute a large segment of the 11 million otherwise law-abiding citizens with criminal records due to this prohibition.
All right. ganja free now. You need to legalize some more. Not to legalize.
Former President of Mexico, Vicente Fox, on CNN.
I used a different strategy. President Calderon came with the strategy of bringing in the army and confronting directly criminals. And so we are in the middle of a war. Ciudad Juarez, for instance, has 5,000 army corps right there in the city, and now it's being brought back to peace. But you need to do that most everywhere. So fighting violence with violence is not necessarily the answer. I did use different instruments, and I still think that today we should open the debate on legalization of drugs. I think it should be open and discussed, because when the violence reached its peak in Chicago 100 years ago with the alcohol prohibition, the only answer and solution came by authorizing back again the consumption of alcohol. Now, it doesn't have to be open and just grant drug to everybody, no. You have to be very sure that you take the right measures and you put the right conditions to do that. Right. I'm not sure is the answer, but I would still suggest or propose that debate should be open in the United States and in Mexico.
Well, I was going to ask you, because Secretary Clinton was in Mexico in March and said it is the insatiable demand of the U.S. market for illicit drugs that's really fueling all of this. And you hear this admission, yes, but not that much is being done about it. Yeah, and you're saying that your answer is consider legalizing drugs, marijuana, other drugs?
Well, many different measures. What I'm saying is let's open the debate, because we still have time to take other measures. For instance, yes, that was my cry in front of U.S. authorities, that the responsibility of this nation in the problems of violence in Mexico is total. First, because the huge, large consumer market of drugs is here. Number two, who moves the drug once it crosses the border? Who brings it to the Atlanta market, to Washington, and who returns the money laundered back to keep buying drugs in Mexico or in Colombia or in Venezuela, Hugo Chavez. And so it's things that we have to discuss and we have to solve. The problem of arms and weapons coming from this nation, from the United States to Mexico. Those cartels are heavily armed with guns they buy here in this market. So the responsibility of the United States is total in the case of drugs. But we are not here to blame each other. What we have to do is work together.
Some may say, why'd they take my choice? My way of life is my freedom's voice. If the government cared about your health, cigarettes and liquor'd be off the shelf. Propaganda feeds the hungry beast. The government is best, which governs least. We said, some we say, ganja. We say, ganja. Some may say, why'd they take my choice? Back in the day, the people had no voice. 1937, the FBN, Harry and Slinger and some shady men. They locked the Congress saying marijuana kills, 'cause hemp fathers said the paper mills. We said, some we say, ganja. We say, drop.
You are.
THCF Medical Clinics are the premier physicians clinic in the United States. THCF has offices all across the United States from Hawaii to Michigan. THCF Medical Clinics has helped approximately 150,000 patients obtain their medical marijuana permits to legally possess, grow, and use medical marijuana. If you have chronic pain, multiple sclerosis, or any other neurological degenerative disease, or if you have any gastrointestinal disorders such as GERD, irritable bowel syndrome, or if you have AIDS, cancer, spastic disorders, seizure disorders, or glaucoma, call us at 1-800-723-0188 or visit us online at hemp.org. Again, the number is 1-800-723-0188 and the site is hemp.org. Serious Seeds is your source for quality cannabis and sativa seeds. Serious Seeds are the creators of legendary strains like AK-47, Bubblegum, Chronic, Cali Mist, and White Russian. The AK-47 is probably the most awarded strain on the planet. The high THC content of AK-47 makes it the perfect medical strain for patients seeking quick pain relief. Cali Mist is an almost pure sativa. Female medical cannabis patients have reported that this strain helps relieve menstrual cramps. Serious Seeds just acquired another Dutch high-quality seed bank, Magus Genetics. From now on, Serious Seeds can offer you even more award-winning strains. The fine folks at Serious Seeds strive to breed the best cannabis genetics that they can find, so patients can rely on the effectiveness of their medicine. Go to SeriousSeeds.com to grow your medicine. That site again is SeriousSeeds.com.
Hello. Thank you for listening. My name's Adam Kay.
And my name's Suman Biswas.
This album is sponsored by Smaxoglythkline, who have asked us to say a few words about their new drug, Paracetamoxifluzibendroneomycin. Paracetamoxifluzibendroneomycin. It's our brand new wonder drug we think you'll find enticing. Paracetamoxifluzibendroneomycin. I'm the lie, I'm the lie, I'm the lie. The BNF has 20,000 different drugs to take, so we thought, what could we produce to give you all a break? A drug that can treat anything from leprosy to SARS, and you can give it in the mouth, IV or up the arse. It's Paracetamoxifluzibendroneomycin. Paracetamoxifluzibendroneomycin. It can cure the common cold and being struck by lightning. Paracetamoxifluzibendroneomycin. I'm the lie, I'm the lie, I'm the lie. We tested it on animals and none of them survived, but that's okay because when we wrote the paper up we lied. It's first choice for MIMS and even for ME and COPD, HIV, PE and DVT. Paracetamoxifluzibendroneomycin. Paracetamoxifluzibendroneomycin. It reverses impotence and makes you good at fighting. Paracetamoxifluzibendroneomycin. I'm the lie, I'm the lie, I'm the lie. There are some minor side effects and some are not that rare, like nausea, vomiting, and losing all your hair, and heart attacks, becoming gay and growing extra breasts. But it's fucking cheap and hey, this is the NHS. Paracetamoxifluzibendroneomycin. Paracetamoxifluzibendroneomycin. There are cures for everything from AIDS to pubic lice in Paracetamoxifluzibendroneomycin. I'm the lie, I'm the lie. Paracetamoxifluzibendroneomycin. We make it from the cerebellar cortex of a bison. After that it undergoes some polygenic splicing. Paracetamoxifluzibendroneomycin. I'm the lie, I'm the lie. Paracetamoxifluzibendroneomycin. It makes you smart as Einstein and as muscular as Tyson. It brings an end to all that pharmacology revising. Paracetamoxifluzibendroneomycin. I'm the lie, I'm the lie. Paracetamoxifluzibendroneomycin. We sell lots in Japan because it's the antidote to ricin. The Minister of Health we hear will shortly be advising, take Paracetamoxifluzibendroneomycin.
inspiration and information. See what all the buzz is all about. It's time for hemp. It's time for hemp.
You are listening to the Time for Hemp podcast, and we're going to get back to the program here in just a minute. But a friend of mine, Kelly Christner from KDK Distributors, wants to make a special announcement to all the members of the audience of Time for Hemp. And Kelly, why don't you let people know all about that?
You betcha. We're lucky enough to be able to offer some totally 100% free vaporizers, high-quality vaporizers, to medical patients anywhere in the world who cannot afford one on their own. As I know, and probably most of you do who are listening, those on assisted income or disability pension, whatever the case may be, they can't work, they're ill, and they medicate with marijuana and find it difficult to be able to purchase a quality vaporizer. So it's super simple. If either you yourself or you can send one in for someone who you think might be very happy to receive a free vaporizer, send me an email with a little bit of information about the individual and, of course, a photograph, because we do publish the winners in Treating Yourself magazine, and send it to Kelly, Kelly, at kdkwholesale.ca. And once we receive it, we put it in our really small barrel and pick people out. Well, I have to say, in all honesty, we've doubled our giveaway thanks to the guys down at Buy Vape, and of course our ongoing relationship with the great folks at Herbal Air that have been with us since the beginning on this program. And, you know, we've doubled our giveaways, so I'm hoping that we can double our entries, because I got to tell you, in all honesty, we're starting to run low. So come on, you people out there. I know that there are just thousands of you, and please, send in something, and because I'm telling you, we sure love giving them away, and we know it does great things. And thanks to both Herbal Air for originating the program and Buy Vape for coming along, doubling our free vaporizer output.
And Kelly, I tell you, you are remarkable, very amazing. I've been uploading the past live shows into the Time for Hemp iTunes live podcast. You can find it for free on iTunes. All 3 years I'm getting them loaded up. Boy, it's a chore, but I'm making it happen. And I realized, my gosh, Kelly, I think you came on board like the third or fourth week that we went live on AmericanFreedomRadio.com back in 2009. You have been a backbone to this series, as well as the movement. And honestly, Kelly, this show would not be anywhere the strength it is, would not have anywhere the size of audience that it has, and our guests would not be heard as loudly as they are heard had it not been for the support of you and the amazing team at KDK. So
we've really made some difference in a lot of people's lives out there. It's not the fact that they actually save money, because it reduces their need to use medical marijuana, because it reduces because it's way more efficient, and it reduces their consumption, so they save money. But also it's phenomenal for the health factor and receiving their medication in a much less harmful way. So it's a double-edged sword, and it really, really has gone to help some people out there who are really in need. And I know that, we can't reach them all, but I'll tell you what, we can reach a lot, and we are continuing to do that every month. So please keep your letters coming in, and let anybody you know, or any compassion clubs, or dispensaries or anything, let them know that this exists, and hopefully we can continue the program.
Because it is much, much healthier to vaporize than it is to burn and smoke, baby, huh?
Without question. Well, there are well over 20 carcinogens created by combustion, and of course they're eliminated. And, no rolling paper glue, no butane from a lighter. So yes, from a health perspective, it is a substantial improvement in terms of getting that medication into your body.
Well, Kelly, I want to thank you on behalf of the marijuana movement for your graciousness to make certain that people who are sick and need a healthy way to take their medication can do so. I also want to remind people that you can find all 4 of our podcasts up in the iTunes and that is a great way to share these podcasts with all your friends all around the world. We have the Time for Hemp Music Podcast, Time for Hemp Classic Podcast, Time for Hemp Live Podcast, and the Time for Hemp Today Podcast, all found at iTunes. Also, if you go to timeforhemp.com, that's the number 4, timeforhemp.com, you can find lots of videos that you can download for free. There are segments of the original Time for Hemp TV series found there. Also, I've done interviews over the past couple of years at the Seattle Hemp Fest and the Portland Hemp Stock, and those are found there, as well are segments that I have been the joint host of on Cannabis Common Sense with Paul Stanford, who is the joint host on Time for Hemp Live every Thursday. Well, we're going to listen to some music right now and pack a bowl. And after all, this is the music podcast where we do a whole lot of rocking and very little talking. So pack your bowls with me and pass it around with your friends as we rock out here at Time for Hemp.
Personality. Are we living in a hypocritical society where they fight against the herbs and I smoke it quietly? Alcohol a killer, them a go like them no see. So them open rum bar and I cut down the herb tree. You can't find me vineyard in a the country. When me plant up me food, plant up me sensei. Up in a the mountain where the spring water flowing. Soil me the till enough seed me been sowing. All the grammar zone them boy they been throwing. Me herbs still growing, Lord. Nah, put no chemical at them road for no reason. Seed me sow we grow in due season. Harvest time, people heart beaming. Time for reaping, whoa. All day, all night, blaze up the fire key. It make me have a calm personality. Are we living in a hypocritical society where they fight against the herbs and I smoke it quietly? Good for the nerves and it good for the asthma. Some for the nurse bring some for the doctor. Once in the country affairs are run proper. So me got a stash for the prime minister, the opposition leader. Some for the lawyer, some for the judge. The police commissioner we have a fat bud. Warriors around them have to get them coachy load, yeah. A few old meds now before them touch the road, yeah. They settle them nerve. All day, all night, blaze up the fire key. It make me have a calm personality. Are we living in a hypocritical society where they fight against the herbs and I smoke it quietly? Alcohol a killer, them a go like them no see. Open rum bar and I cut down the herb tree. So them can't find me vineyard in a the country. When me plant up me food, plant up me sensei. Are we living in a hypocritical society where they fight against the herbs and I smoke it quietly? Alcohol a killer, them a go like them no see. So them open rum bar and I cut down the herb tree. So them can't find me vineyard in a the country. When me plant up me food, plant up me sensei. Open at the mountain where the spring water flow. Soil me the till enough seed me been sowing. All the grammar zone them boy they been throwing. Me herbs still growing, wow. You no chemical at them road for no reason. Seed me sow we grow in due season. Harvest time the people are
Oh, gut green reefer, a big fat don't be much sweeter. Hide it, don't hide it. Hide it, don't hide it. Just light it, don't hide it. Hide it, don't hide it. Oh, light it, don't hide it. Fire it up right now. Said, hey, do you have a joint, kids? Sure would be hot cooler if you did. Light it, don't hide it. Light it, don't hide it. Oh, light it, don't hide it. Light it, don't hide it. Just light it, don't hide it. Fire it up right now. Now hold on, girl. I know you got the good. Light it up, baby, right here in wood. We'll get a good buzz like we did before. And don't you worry, baby, we'll smoke a little more. Well, light it, don't hide it. Light it, don't hide it. Just light it, don't hide it. Light it, don't hide it. Just light it, don't hide it. Fire it up right now. Well, light it, don't hide it. Light it, don't hide it. Just light it, don't hide it. Light it, don't hide it. Just light it, don't hide it. 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 Just light it, don't hide it. Fire it up right now. I said, light it, don't hide it. Fire it up right now.
I think we're getting carried away with the whole war on drugs. That's how silly the whole thing gets. Drugs are very dangerous, but there's a lot of things that's very dangerous. The question is who should regulate danger? Should we assume responsibility for ourselves, or should the government take care of us? And I don't believe in the nanny state. If you do have regulations and laws, they should be at the state level, not at the federal level. We didn't even have a federal law up until 1937, and here we are. We have spent hundreds of billions of dollars in a very unsuccessful attempt to regulate drugs, and you have all these weird examples. That's one example you mentioned, but what about a sick person dying with cancer, goes out and uses marijuana when it was legalized in a particular state like California, and the feds come in and arrest him? I mean, there's so much violation there of common decency and the Constitution, and it makes no sense. The drug war is a total failure, and the federal drug war ought to be revisited and for the most part gotten rid of. If you're a consistent person and you think the government should be regulating personal behavior, you have to be for prohibition of alcohol. And when you look back and throughout history and what happened to that was a total disaster. It created the Al Capones. And right now today, there's so much violence today, not because people use drugs, but because they're illegal. That's why, you know, the people who benefit the most by all these laws, these are the drug cartels. They lobby to keep these laws in place because they can't exist without them. You don't have the Al Capones now because you don't have prohibition of alcohol. Prohibition is what is bad. And this does not mean we endorse personal behavior that is not beneficial. It just means who regulates personal behavior, and it shouldn't be the state. There's no benefits to it. It's just like regulating church behavior or religious behavior of any sort. So I see no purpose in doing this. I understand there's a few people who smoke marijuana already. What is so bad is the war on marijuana, putting people in prison. They can be caught using drugs for the third time, never committing a violent act, and putting them them in prison for life. And yet rapists and murderers can get out. And if you think of all that expenses, you're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars that get spent on this. And people usually who get sent to prison for nonviolent drug use come out as violent criminals. So it makes no sense at all to pursue this method. We have people in Washington, D.C. who drink a lot of alcohol, let me tell you. Because of political reasons, they're scared to death to vote to legalize the growing of hemp. Hemp has nothing to do with smoking marijuana. And because of this obsession on the drug war, we can't grow hemp in this country. We send the hemp growing up to Canada, then we buy the products that we make from hemp. So we export our jobs to Canada. Hemp is a good product that we prohibit from being used, and it was legal up until even after World War II. We were allowed to raise hemp in this country. This is how hysterical this war on drugs has gotten. So the sooner as we come to this realization, someday, actually I'm optimistic about this. I think this country is going to wake up like they did in the 30s and say, hey, you know, prohibition didn't work. Get rid of the prohibition. Let the regulation go back to the state. Regulate it like alcohol. I want to go back to a previous time prior to 1937 when the states did the regulating. And I don't advocate giving marijuana to 10-year-olds walking in the store. But at 10, you know, the kids now can get more marijuana with all these laws easier than they can get alcohol.
When Mark Emery can be free to run his business and sell his seeds. It's just a plant, it's just a weed. Another victim of corporate greed. It's simply business. It's simply business. It's simply business, you know why they won't let us grow. It's simply business. We burn the oil and cut the trees, while the captains of industry, they run a big monopoly on everything but the birds and bees. It's simply business. It's simply business. It's simply business, you know why they won't let us grow. It's simply business. Food and fuel. You heat it up, it makes you cool. Illegal brownies, oh my my. It makes you laugh, but it makes me cry. It's simply business. It's simply business. It's simply business, you know why they won't let us grow. It's simply business. It's a medicine for many ills. It's cheap and safer than all those pills. It's in the Bible, 1 Genesis 29. It's also simple, it repels the mind. It's simply business. It's simply business. It's simply business, you know why they won't let us grow. It's simply business. Shooting guns from a factory. It makes a job, but it makes no sense to give the peace when you can sell defense. It's simply business. It's simply business. It's simply business, you know why they won't let us grow. It's simply business. It's simply business. It's simply business. It's simply business, you know why they won't let us grow. It's simply business. It's simply business, you know why they won't let us grow. It's simply business.
Yes, it is simply business. That's what we're here for at Time for Hemp. My former employer, Jack Hare, used to tell me, follow the money. And that's what I always made it a point to do, was to follow the money. And it was the money that outlawed this plant. And now, today, we are celebrating, finally, the Justice Department coming out and letting us know that they have finally reached an understanding that the war on marijuana is over. I like that. That's very nice. You know, I think took a long time. I can't believe how long it actually took. But there was a time when Jack Hare and I used to sit in the office and talk about how there would be peace and there would be the chance to enjoy marijuana someplace where it is like outdoors and not have to worry about the police coming after you and arresting you. When I first came to Portland, Oregon, it became almost a strange reality being a medical marijuana card holder. I don't know, I felt like I was on a Hollywood set sometimes. I'd go to these beautiful gardens and I'd see these fantastic plants. Geesh, I really thought I was dreaming. And now it seems like in all the states where medical marijuana is allowed, and industrial hemp, which is now taking another spot in the headlines, the Justice Department realizes that our farming community and our medical marijuana community are pretty much confident in ending prohibition. Well, this is the Time for Hemp Music Podcast. On the Time for Hemp Music Podcast, we like to do a whole lot of rocking and very little talking, so we're going to move forward. I want to remind you, though, that we are up in iTunes, and you can find us there by typing into the search engines Time for Hemp. That's the number 4, timeforhemp.com, or just Time for Hemp, and it will pop up. Also, we are on Spreaker. It is Spreaker that makes it possible for us to broadcast live at timeforhemp.com. We are also heard on AmericanFreedomRadio.com Monday through Friday from 10 to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard. Tomorrow we're starting an hour early because of the global conference that we have been doing here on the big broadcast. And so we want to make sure that you remember to tune in an hour early tomorrow and take time for hemp. You can also find us on Tumblr and SoundCloud if you've got devices that you enjoy running around the world with, whether it be an iPad or a little phone that's got an Android program on it, even a Microsoft program. You can find Time for Hemp available in all those devices. Just go to the timeforhemp.com website. We also have an amazing background of interviews. I call them backgrounds. People refer to them as an archive. To me, they're just some interviews of all of my friends and I sitting around talking about how we need to end the prohibition. But you can certainly find people like Mark Emery and Jack Hare and Gateway Galbraith and Congressman Barney Frank and Willie Nelson and Governor Gary Johnson, all in there talking about how we need to end prohibition. So please go to timeforhemp.com. There's also a donate button you can hit when you're there, and we appreciate it if you do that. It takes a few bucks to keep this program going. I want to say thank you to our sponsors, the people who do make it possible for us to be full-time activists. If it weren't for them, we would not be talking to you right now. So make it a point to go to timeforhemp.com, click on all the banners there, and let all of our sponsors know that you heard about them here on the big broadcast. So anyway, it is happy 420. We are truly celebrating the words of Eric Holder. I never thought I'd say that out loud, but finally the Justice Department recognizes the will of the people and understands that the will of the people will rule. And I think that rocks. So we're going to kick off this next round of music after we hear from a good friend of mine who took Time for Hemp when I was doing a little television series back in Van Nuys. That's how this program started. Launched in 1991, January 5th. Chris Conrad was my first guest. Later in the year, Willie Nelson came on to be a guest on my show, as did Dr. Tim Leary. You can find them at timeforhemp.com. Please make it a point to go there and visit and share us with your friends. We're coming back after this commercial break to enjoy some more music at Time for Hemp.
This may sound strange, but I want to pay taxes. See, I don't drink alcohol or smoke cigarettes. I relax with something science has proven is much safer, marijuana. And I want to buy it somewhere that charges taxes to pay for schools and roads, just like alcohol and tobacco. What do you think should profit? Are schools and roads or drug dealers?
Visit the Marijuana Policy Project Foundation at joinmpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
Georgia.
Hi, this is Willie Nelson. Alcohol prohibition didn't work in the 1920s, and marijuana prohibition isn't working today. It's time we stopped arresting responsible marijuana smokers. It's the fair thing to do.
For more information, contact NORML, the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. Call toll-free 888-67-NORML or visit their website at norml.org.
Take a letter to the president. Letter to the president. Yes, man. Legalize it. Decriminalize it. And I'm on Mr. Banton will advertise it. Sensimila. They send a letter to the residents of the president with a stamp on the front saying very urgent. The message inside went something like legalize it. Sensimila. Sensimila is a herb that grows naturally, just like any other plant or tree. Natural as the birds, natural as the bees, and just like them, sensi ought to be free to be grown anywhere that we please, in the city, in the town, and in the country, in the hills and in the valley. Sensi should be there for everyone to see. Me send a letter to the residents of the president with a stamp on the front saying very urgent. The message inside went something like legalize it. Sensi meal to call sensi a drug is very absurd. It should be known as a natural herb. So much diseases sensi has cured. That's why doctors use it all around the world for glaucoma and fever, rheumatism, arthritis and asthma, insomnia, emphysema, and to block epileptic seizure, to alleviate pain and nausea associated with the AIDS and cancer. Some say it is the best stress reliever. Lord knows I'm a believer. So give me the ganja cookie and the herbal tea. Sensimila is irate. I don't care what no government say. Sensimila is okay. Me ganja cookie and me herbal tea. Sensimila is irate. I don't care what no government say. Sensimila is okay. Yes, man. Legalize it now. Legalize it. Ha ha ha. Legalize it. Letter to the president. Legalize it. Letter to the president. We want legalization, decriminalization, and emancipation for all those sentenced to incarceration for participation with the healing of the nation. It's just another case of political insanity, abusing the rights of humanity. But we should all plant a seed of the sweet that we need to avoid an ecological calamity. We can use it for paper to save some trees, use it for fuel to save some seas, use it for medicine to help fight disease, and use it for food when we're hungry. So give me the ganja cookie and the herbal tea. Sensimila is irate. I don't care what no government say. Sensimila is okay. The ganja cookie and the herbal tea. Sensimila is irate. I don't care what no government say. Sensimila is okay. Me send a letter to the residents of the president with a stamp on the front saying very urgent. The message inside went something like legalize it. Sensimila, legalize it. The way medication, legalize Lord, the way meditation, legalize. Whoa. nation legalize it. Yes, we send me law. Yes, from Downing Street to DC, time to paint the White House green. You know what I mean? Scene. Let that to the president. Let that to the president. Let that to the president. Let that to the president.
Yes, take a letter to the president, and we can certainly tell you what to add to that letter. We are doing a conference. Tomorrow is the last in 5. Starts an hour earlier than our normal time on AmericanFreedomRadio.com, and it is the Solutions Summit that we are putting together. Ethan Nadelman, Eric Sterling, Howard Woodridge, and a couple other groovy people are going to be stopping by to take time for hemp to have a global discussion on the need to end global prohibition and how we can implement the end of global prohibition without upsetting the apple cart, so to speak. It's rather interesting. There is a press release there at Time for Hemp. You can check it out. There's also a link to all the past conferences, and we do ask that you, our audience, go to timeforhemp.com and please send to your congressmen and your senators and your mayors and your UN representatives and anybody who will listen a copy of each and every single MP3 that is found attached to that particular press release known as the Global Hemp Summit. It is very important that people do realize that there is a need to end marijuana prohibition all the way around the world. So we want everybody to get an MP3 copy, send it off to your congressman and senator. You can also burn it off onto a CD and send it to your congresspeople that way as well. And that's a good way of sharing the message. And also, there are people in your community like ministers and mayors and town council leaders who still haven't had the light come on in their head. We cover industrial hemp, we cover medical marijuana, we cover the international treaties, we cover the incarceration and the mess that is creating in our courts. And all of this is by experts from all around the world talking about how these horrible policies have ruined many aspects of their social fabric. That is why we are celebrating today. I'm serious. We are going to be celebrating clear until after midnight and letting everybody know how happy we are, kicking our heels up, because Eric Holder and the Justice Department have finally come to the realization that we're not going anywhere but into the fields to plant our seeds of medical marijuana, to plant our seeds of industrial hemp. And the longer you fight us, the more money you waste, the more silly you look, and the more tax dollars you cannot accumulate. That is another thing that's going to be rather exciting to observe, is the amount of tax revenue that comes rolling into the coffers of all these states that have industrial hemp and, of course, medical marijuana, and how in the 2 states where recreational herb is now going to be utilized, the tax revenue that will be developed from that will be rather interesting, I would think, to say the least. And so it's going to be fun to watch the headlines and the prosperous growth over the next 12 months. And I don't want to say any particular time, but I do know that when one domino falls, the other dominoes fall quickly. And we have now half the country who has legalized marijuana either for medical purposes or industrial hemp. And Eric Holder finally came out and said something I agree with. It is time to let the states handle it, and the states are. And so we are going to throw down a wang dang doodle here at Time for Hemp. We are doing 2 hours of back-to-back music to celebrate, that you can dance around with in your living rooms, jam out to in your cars, and share with all your friends. Again, I want to remind you, you can find all of our podcasts free to download in iTunes. Also go to timeforhemp.com. We got a great archive there. Every morning we are live from 10 to 11 Pacific Standard, and as soon as the show is over with, it auto-loads onto timeforhemp.com, and the moment you load on to the website, it begins to autoplay, so you can always keep up to date. Today we had Irv Rosenfeld on the show. Irv is an amazing man. I would encourage you to go and check out his book and let him know that you heard about him on Time for Hemp. Well, it is time for a wang-a-dang-a-doodle. For those of you who don't know what that means you pack a bowl, you pass it around with your friends, you get your dancing shoes on, and you get ready to kick up your heels, because there is nothing more important than enjoying time with your friends, amazing herb, fantastic music, and of course, always taking time for hemp. So everybody here, roll up your sleeves, pack your bowl, and let your friends know that you are going to do just that. And when you do take time for hemp, add a .com to it and pass that URL around to all your friends. So here is the Grateful Dead helping us to celebrate the wonderful news that we got today on the internet and around the world from the Justice Department, that it's time to celebrate the end of the war on marijuana and have a great wang dang doodle. Call your friends.
You're not a total nanny till the bass talking nanny. See, we gonna pitch a ball down to that Union Hall. We're gonna roam and strong till midnight. Gonna fuss and fight till daylight. We gonna pitch a wang dang doodle all night long. Till Patsy Moshboat Sam, till everybody gonna jam. Taking Boxcar Joe, got sawdust on the floor. The chicken until I die, gonna have one good time. And when the fish sing through the air, these stuff chase everywhere. We gonna picture way day through all night long. 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 We gonna picture way day through all night long. Way dang doodle all night long.
Break, another sign that the boomers are ruling this country. Barack Obama said this week that he's tried drugs and it barely got a mention in the newspapers. But remember the uproar that cost Douglas Ginsburg his Supreme Court nomination over the disclosure that he smoked marijuana. And this from 1992.
When I was in England, I experimented with marijuana a time or two, and I didn't like it, and didn't inhale, and never tried it again.
How did he know he didn't like it if he didn't inhale? I'm sorry, you can't go back to that. But by 2004, Democrats were falling all over each other to admit trying pot.
Which of you are ready to admit to having used marijuana in the past? And they want us to go around and ask each of you. Senator Kerry, yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Senator Edwards?
Yes.
Senator Lieberman?
I have a reputation for giving unpopular answers at Democratic debates. I never use marijuana. Sorry.
Which brings us up to this week and Barack Obama.
Look, when I was a kid, I inhaled frequently. That was the point.
So what was that cameraman on?
He was inhaling, apparently.
Howard, what do you think about this?
Well, I think it's an accepted part of the culture now, and I think for one of the reasons why Barack Obama is so popular, especially among younger people, is that he seems so real. He seems to acknowledge the reality of things. It's kind of almost like a dog whistle kind of thing. Older people can't hear it. Younger people hear it. And that's one of the things that they hear. He seems to be willing to be honest, straight from the shoulder.
Is that like Ralph Nader always being for industrial hemp? Okay, that must be a dog whistle because I don't hear it.
There's nothing to say once you've said, yes, I inhaled. Then what? Nothing. The thing people can't stand is the lie.
Education and information. See what all the buzz is all about. It's time for hemp. It's time for hemp.
Nobody cares, who gives a damn about Jack? Too much hatred, violence over what politicians can shove it up there. As you know, we're trying to make a change by showing everyone that inside we're all the same. Forget about race, forget about your color, and eye for an eye, just love one another. It's not that hard. Well, our world is crazy. change are too crazy. It drives me insane. But we can do it. There ain't nothing to it. There are no limits. No, no, no. You don't abuse it. Our world. Our world. Come on. It's like this. We'll fight for your rights. Stay hyped. Live for the times you wish you could have seen twice. Get it right the first time. Watch out for the fine line. Most punishment is never even really worth the crime. Yo, well, life flies while you grow. So don't die young, man, but never get old. I said moments like these right here, yo. I said what I live for, what I live for. A time when we can be one, as we were when we were first created. Come together as the new generation. Oh, what a sensation. Yo, don't get left out, but don't let it down. Get ready, cause this shit's about to get heavy. Hemp street rhythms in your face, coming at you right now. Come on! Well, I challenge all of you. I challenge all of you. I challenge all of you to make a difference. I challenge all of you. I challenge all of you. I challenge all of you to make a change. I challenge all of you. I challenge all of you. I challenge all of you to make a
Time for Hemp is like a good joint. It's best when shared. Find us on iTunes and Spreaker. And of course, timeforhemp.com.
What kind of a peace do I mean, and what kind of a peace do we seek? Not a Pax Americana, enforced on the world by American weapons of war. Not the peace of the grave or the security of the slave. I am talking about genuine peace, the kind of peace that makes life on earth worth living, the kind that enables men and nations to grow and to hope and build a better life for their children. Not merely peace for Americans, but peace for all men and women. Not merely peace in our time, but peace in all time.
Education and information. See what all the buzz is all about. It's time for hemp. It's time for hemp.
I want to tell y'all a little bit about a plant I know that can save the world. It grows long and tall and has flowers that can make your mind swirl. It's a funky plant with a fiber that is resistant to rain and mold. It's the strongest plant fiber known to man, the best rope you'll ever hold. Well, the pioneers covered up their wagon trains with a canvas made of hemp. And Washington and Jefferson grew it on their farms and said to make the most of it. First stars and stripes were sown on hemp, the first constitution too. This is around the world for food, fiber, oil, medicine, and fuel. And if we press its seeds, we won't have no need for any other oil. We can make paints and inks, or run our car, we'll go back next season. It'll fix the soil, the most nutritious seed we can put in our mouth with omega-6 and 3. We can feed the world with the tree of life and live sustainably. But if we cut down all the trees, can make our paper, build a house from it. It's the God's plan, growing wild and free, living the way that we ought to be. Gonna leave my children a better world than my ancestors left me. Whoa, whoa. La 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 la. Whoa, whoa.
Marijuana plant, they often call it dope, can also be made into oil or rope. Some people say you smoke it and you feel fantastic, but from hemp you can make an alternative to plastic. Made from plants, not petroleum, you see, so it won't still be around in 4003. It can biodegrade, which means there'll be less pollution. Just another reason for a hemp revolution.
Well, the flowers of the female hemp plant make the best medicines on earth. Helps cancer and AIDS patients eat their food. Helps those with depression overcome the blues. Glaucoma, epilepsy, nausea, insomnia, stress, neurosis, psychosis, pain, PMS. All the studies have been done and all the doctors agree, but they can't make money off this plant, you see, because it's free. It grows from a seed, wild and free, like we ought to be. You know the future is grown in our own backyards. If we cut down all the trees, we won't have nowhere to be. We'll grow fields of hemp instead. We can make our paper, build a house from it. It's the God's plan, going wild and free, living the way that we ought to be. Gonna leave my children a better world than my ancestors left me. Whoa, whoa. La 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 la. Whoa, whoa.
In the mid-1930s, it was $1 billion crop. With the invention of the quarter-kit, they could produce it non-stop. But then a smear campaign with Mexicans to blame started making people think it'll make your brain go pop. Yeah, since then it's never stopped. It ain't like getting high for paint and crack rock. Time to bring it back to nature, time to bring back some life. Let the farmers do their job, stop giving them strife. Renewable resources, life-giving forces. Panels for your cars and saddles for your horses. DuPont, Monsanto, making the wrong choices. Suicide genes, extinguishing our voices. Cutting down the trees, polluting the 7 seas. Leaving the fate of the planet to the corporate entities. Corrupt politics, warfare, disease. Now it's time to make a change, it's time to plant seeds.
7% nutritious, you the oil seeds. It gives you all the protein you will ever need. You can make it in a sandwich with jelly or jam, or make it in a soap or a lotion for your hands. You can make it into fuel, put it right in our cars, then we won't need the oil and won't have to start wars. You can make it into paper, right as much as you please, cause it grows like a weed and we won't have to cut trees. So put your faith in hemp, such a versatile plant, and don't let the government tell us we can't, cause hemp can help us all in so many ways, and it doesn't mean that we will all be living in a day. It's versatility, sustainability, look at history, it ain't no mystery, hemp for victory.
If we cut down all the trees, we won't have nowhere to be. We grow fields of hemp instead. We can make our paper, build a house from it. It's the God's plan, growing wild and free, living the way that we ought to be. Gonna leave my children a better world than my ancestors left me. Whoa, whoa. La 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 la. Whoa, whoa. So in this modern day and age, when we seem to lack spirituality, this one single plant can bring us back almost 10,000 years in history. To the Shiva, Piranhas, the Jesus, the Christ, to the Buddha, the pagans, the goddess, the light, to commune with all the animals, the one with all the trees, to realize we gotta see, cause inside me, as the earth is the mother, we gotta take care of the earth, cause the earth is the mother that gives life birth, and we can heal all our relations with a single green plant, and we can start right now.
We got to legalize, we're gonna come alive, all the people who know what's up, Gonna say what the heck we letting these suckers get away with it for? Come on and open the door. Are you with me? Are you with me? It's gonna take my organ to shut the suckers down. We're not fooling around, but they're keeping us divided, opposite-sided. What do we Americans do? We keep buying it. Black and white, they're making us fight and still in the same racist hatred justifies violence over nations. Gotta wake up and see the real enemy is the powers that be. From the opposition, see. Wake up now to nature's creation. Sacred herb can unite the nations. Gotta legalize the herb of adoration. All of this use is gonna heal the nation. Heal the nation. Heal the nation. Gonna heal the nation. Gonna heal the nation.
Now, when it comes to medical marijuana, I have more of a practical view than anything else. I mean, my attitude is that if it's an issue of doctors prescribing medical marijuana as a treatment for glaucoma or as a cancer treatment, I think that should be appropriate, because there really is no difference between that and a doctor prescribing morphine or anything else. I think there are legitimate concerns in not wanting to allow people to grow their own or start setting up mom and pop shops, because at that point it becomes fairly difficult to regulate. And you know, again, I'm not familiar with all the details of the initiative that was passed and what safeguards there were in place. But I think the basic concept that using medical marijuana in the same way with the same controls as other drugs prescribed by doctors, I think that's entirely appropriate.
This may sound strange, but I want to pay taxes. See, I don't drink alcohol or smoke cigarettes. I relax with something science has proven is much safer, marijuana. And I want to buy it somewhere that charges taxes to pay for schools and roads, just like alcohol and tobacco. What do you think should profit? Are schools and roads or drug dealers?
Visit the Marijuana Policy Project Foundation at joinmpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
Education and information. See what all the buzz is all about. It's time for hemp. It's time for hemp.
I'm not a doctor, but I've seen one on TV. And no one is immune from everyday aches and pains. But what about the times you've caused the pain yourself? You've hit your thumb with a hammer. You've stepped on a rake. You've slammed your head in the car door. Again. Now, for the extra pain caused by doing something incredibly stupid, there's new Imbecile. Only Imbecile provides fast relief from the special pain of being a mindless clod. Imbecile! Because it hurts to be a jerk. Also try Imbecile Jr.
President George Bush, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas.
Many famous Americans, including prominent conservatives, have used
William F.
marijuana. None were arrested, and all have lived successful lives.
President Bill Clinton. Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Is it fair to arrest
Mayor Michael
750,000 people
Governor
a year
George Pataki.
for doing what presidents and a Supreme Court justice have done?
Visit the Marijuana Policy Project Foundation, www.joinmpp.org, or call toll-free 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
Excuse me for a moment while I vent about the mind-boggling stupidity of the autocratic, bureaucratic, right-wing, Neanderthal numbskulls who keep pushing an insane, inane, and inhumane holy war against marijuana, which is, after all, a weed. The most embarrassing thing for these holy warriors is that the weed is winning. They've been at this war since 1937, spending billions and billions of our tax dollars, militarizing our borders, and stomping on our Bill of Rights. They've used phone taps, garbage searches, jackbooted raids, and draconian prison terms to do what? To nab peaceful, mellow tokers who aren't bothering anyone, that's what. Despite 60 years of spending our money, they failed. 85% of Americans say marijuana is easy to obtain today. A third of our population says they've tried it. Nearly 15 million people partake of it at least monthly, and more high school students now smoke marijuana than cigarettes. Meanwhile, the holy warriors have become more fanatical and thuggish. A marijuana arrest is made every 41 seconds in America, 9 out of 10 of them for mere possession. In 2004, 772,000 Americans were arrested on marijuana charges, more than for all violent crimes combined. And 40,000 Americans are in prison today for this victimless crime, more than the entire prison populations of 8 European countries. Even sicker, the sanctimonious weed warriors have made it a crime for thousands of seriously sick people to get the medical benefits of using small amounts of doctor-prescribed marijuana. Weirdly, our doctors can prescribe cocaine for patients, but not marijuana. This is Jim Hightower saying, for information and action to stop this absurd war, call the Marijuana Policy Project, 202-462-5747.
Time for Hemp is an educational tool that can be found in iTunes, on Spreaker, and of course at timeforhemp.com.
Still they can't get no peace, so they call the Rasta man to get his opinion and decide to throw a party and invite everyone to the state of affairs and the tense position. Please, someone, please call the Kali man. There's a party going down on the other side of town. Everyone is invited. Let's just bring your herb and come. First came a legal sativa, Colombian gold and sensimilia. Northern light shines at the party. From Morocco to Timbuktu. Ooh, people come together. There's a party going down. Let's make love and not war. There's a party going down. People come together. Party going down. Let's make love and not war. So much war in the world, northwest and east. Though they negotiate, still they can't get no peace. So they call the Rasta man to get his opinion and decide to throw a party and invite everyone to the state of affairs and the tense position. Please, someone, please call the Kali man. Bill, we come join the party. Sky the Chinaman, Chinsu. French, Italians, Germans, and North and South Americans, yeah. Some from the Caribbean too. Who ain't got a split, sucking on the chalwa of hydroponic Australian sativa. So light your chalice of arbitration. Yeah. Tonight we're floating round the world. Ooh, yeah. People come together. There's a party going down. Let's make love and not war. There's a party going down. People come together. There's a party going down. Let's make love and not war. Check this out, y'all. So much war over here, war over there. Let's get together and show we care. Too much fighting over here and too much fighting over there. What happened to the love that we once did share? Too much war over here, war over there. War, 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 everywhere. People come together.
of the blues. I need a toke of rhythm and a six-pack of the blues. I got the boogeyman, you know you heard the news. I'm looking for fun, I'm feeling alright. Watch out now, I might go all night. I need a toke of rhythm and a six-pack of the blues. Look out now, you know you heard the news. I'm the town looking for fun. Watch out now, I'm out on the run. I need a toke of rhythm and a six-pack of the blues. I got the boogeyman, you know you heard the news. Stone. That'll get sharp if it takes a hone. I need a toke of rhythm, a six-pack of the blues. Look out, mama, I got them boogie shoes.
Which questions were going to be asked. And I think 3 million people voted, or 3.5 million people voted. I have to say that there was one question that was voted on that ranked fairly high, and that was whether legalizing marijuana would improve the economy and job creation. And I don't know what this says about the online audience, but I just want, I don't want people to think that this was a fairly popular question. We want to make sure that it was answered. The answer is no, I don't think that is a good strategy.
to grow our economy. So
he's a Harvard economics professor and a frequent guest on this program, but we've never had him on, at least as far as I can recall, to talk about drugs. Here's why we're doing this now. He's written a book where he explains what legalizing drugs would save our economy. You ready for the number? $77 billion a year. For comparison, that's the figure that Bernie Madoff admits to bilking investors out of in his Ponzi scheme so they could be all paid back with one quick swoop. Or it's also the 2-year state budget just passed by the state of Wyoming. That means they run their state for 2 years with that money. Professor Myron, thanks so much for being with us, sir.
Nice to be back here.
Break it down for us. You know, we got that figure of 77 million from you. How did you get to 77 billion?
Well, you would get about 44 billion by not spending the money we're currently spending on police for arrests, on judges and prosecutors for all the trials, for prisons and prison guards, et cetera, for the incarcerations. And you get another 33 or so billion by collecting tax revenue on legal drugs in the same way we collect lots of tax revenue on cigarettes and alcohol. So it's a combination of those two things, and that number puts together the state and the federal, but it gets you what used to be thought of as a big number, although these days it doesn't sound so impressive.
Not post Bernie Madoff.
No.
But, you know, some people would say, you know, we make a lot of money by incarcerating these people. We've got people in prisons, and that's part of the economy as well. And would we have to lose the jobs of all these guys who are part of the DEA and police officers fighting on the border? Why would you want to eliminate those jobs?
Well, we don't want to create jobs by forbidding something that people can use responsibly. That argument would say we should go back to criminalizing alcohol. It would say we should criminalize food, because after all, if we made food illegal, there'd be billions and billions of people violating the law every day, and we could hire zillions of police to enforce those laws. So that's just not a very effective argument.
It sounds like what you're saying is that we are almost at the same place today where we were back during Prohibition. That we've got a problem, and the best way of solving it would be of getting rid of the prohibition vis-a-vis alcohol.
Absolutely. And, of course, it turns out that one of the reasons that the nation came to its senses in 1933 was because of a big economic downturn, the Great Depression, and they realized that they wanted more tax revenue, and legalizing alcohol, again, was one way to do it. Now, that's not the only reason to legalize. It's much more important that legalization would, for example, get rid of all the violence in Mexico that we've been observing recently.
You know, it's interesting. Kurlikowski, that potential drug czar that we were just showing there, he's one of the few police chiefs who's actually tried to not decriminalize it legally, but make it so that it's like, you know, maybe a slap on the wrist. Yesterday, on the other hand, we were doing a story about some folks in Texas who were putting people in jails for a long time for just having paraphernalia, a pipe, not even the actual substance itself, in their car. So on one side of the country, we have the law being treated one way. On another side of the country, we've got the law being treated completely differently. It's like a piecemeal approach. Is that part of the problem?
Well, that's a part of the problem, but I think there's a more fundamental problem, which is that the law just doesn't make sense. For something that is potentially dangerous, there might be a reason to regulate it. There might be a reason to tax it. That's exactly what we do with alcohol and cigarettes. But we leave them as legal goods because that way we avoid having the underground markets that create corruption, that create violence, that redistribute income to criminals, and a whole set of negative ancillary effects.
Fascinating. What kind of reaction? I mean, you're a Harvard professor. You're not supposed to be writing about stuff like this. I mean, people are going to think you're a stoner or something. I mean, what kind of reaction have you gotten from this, and do you think it'll ever fly?
From economists, I get a lot of very positive response. Economists think about unintended consequences and recognize that a lot of these negative effects we attribute to drugs are due to drug prohibition. Politicians don't want to touch it because it doesn't seem to be politically viable right now, and that's the problem.
That's interesting. Man, I'll tell you what, interesting discussion. I'm glad we did this. Professor, thank you for being with us, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Some people call it weed. So I've been playing with this band for 2 years, and I still don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Well, David, you know, a wise man, a very wise man, he once called it the diggity dank.
I tell you, friends, it don't matter what you call it, as long as you twist it and roll it and smoke it down. I tell you, my friends, it don't matter what it looks like, as long as it ain't got no seeds and very little stems. We like the green that come up from the ground. We smoke it, pass it all around. We got a lot of friends in our bed, and tonight we raise it right. We smoke it light, we light it up, we puff it down underground. Foot and a half below the water table, pump it around 24/7 to 20 to 24, 4 to the 7, 4 to the 20, and puff it, green. We take the dank, we put it in the paper and roll it around. We pass it, smoke it, the blueberry, smoke it, the blueberry down. Smoke it, the blue, smoke it, the blue, smoke it, the blue, the blue, the blue, the smoke the blue. Smoke the blue, and blow it down. Pop it around and smoke it down. Smoke it down, smoke it down, don't criticize it. Legalize it. Don't criticize it.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, and sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. And in fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
You are listening to Time for Hemp live at timeforhemp.com, and I would encourage you to share us with your friends. We are doing an impromptu party. That's exactly what this is, calling together all of our friends and letting them know we have a reason to celebrate. And we want everybody around the world to know that the war on marijuana is coming to an end. And I would also encourage you to go to timeforhemp.com and check out all of our archives. And yes, we have a lot there that you can share free with your friends. I say free because my friends and I have worked for 22 years to end prohibition, and today is a magical day for us. That's why we came on the air live all around the world on timeforhemp.com to celebrate with music and put a spotlight on all the amazing musicians around the world who focus on ending marijuana prohibition. Well, with that said, there is going to be another one of these sometime soon, and I want everybody around the world to know how much I love the marijuana movement. They are my family, and remember, the next time you hear me, you'll know that it's time for hemp.
Look at all that money